Still my favorite. You didn't let me change my caster pick, but here we go, ladies and gentlemen, the senior finals here at LAIC, and Luca is going to start us off, and it's going to be that Fighting Gong going to be able to find either a fighting energy or a basic fighting Pokemon.
Start us off with that Soul Rock. Obviously, the Lunatone Soul Rock engine gives you a lot of cards, but that Lunatone has an attack that's a little underwhelming for this specific matchup, right? I'm going to predict that Lunatone will make it to the active spot at least a couple of times during this round, and you might be thinking, well, there's plenty of Herbaloons in the deck, or there's Professor Sturo scenario, sure. However, if your opponent's using Ethan Pseudo Woodo to attack your Lunatone, it won't be able to retreat. And if your opponent has a Milotic in play, then they won't be able to play Professor Sturo scenario. So that could be something where Luca could be put in a situation where if he draws too many cards, because these decks don't play any deck replenishing options, that could be problematic to where even though the Ethan Pseudo Woodo would eventually take a knockout, there just aren't enough cards left in the deck. So there's many ways that this match can go. I'm sure we're going to be trying to predict what these players are going to be doing, and they're then going to do the exact opposite, because that's how this matchup plays. Every turn is going to be both players improvising and adapting to what they can do. But starting off for Camille, getting that Precious Trolley right off the bat is huge.
Yes, I predict that Pokemon are going to hit the bench, Pablo. That's my prediction for this turn. As also finds, again, with Arvin, you get to find a tool card as well, and Camille has a couple of tools he can choose from. Opts with the Bravery Charm to increase HP. Very interesting choice there. Maybe wants to prevent an early knockout. Again, has options in like something like Luxurious Escape. You don't want to give an extra prize card. Or the Handheld Fan is always interesting. A great way to disrupt your opponent just by taking a hit. Taking one energy and moving it to another who can't even use it is always great.
So here's what I'm thinking, Juancho. A general game plan that we could see here from Camille is establish the Milotic, right? We see the Feebas getting put into play. We see the Pidgey, because Pidgeotty X is very key to the control strategy of this. You need very specific cards to accomplish very specific things, and that's where Pidgeot comes in. And we also have the possibility to item lock, right? So one way we can do this is we can put Cornerstone up in the active, force our opponent to attack into it, try to deal with it, we can heal it, and with the Handheld Fan, those Metal Energies get transferred to Pokemon on the bench, which can't use them, right? A Metal Energy on Solrock is useless. A Metal Energy on Lunatone is also useless, and if they're in play, they cannot be recovered from the discard pile. That leads to a situation where a Gholdengo that can't be Professor Turo to the hand could not be moved from the active spot. Now, we don't see the Cornerstone just yet. We might not see that either at all. It could also be a situation where you put up the 3-prizer up front, right? You force your opponent to utilize many resources, and then you item lock them with plenty of energies in the discard pile, which they can no longer recover, and that Freelish having the Luxurious Escape that, remember, we talked about, it's almost like the Body strategy, but Freelish has even more HP than Body, making it even tougher to take down.
Yeah, right now, though, the baby Gholdengo hits the board and is only going to strike it rich, doing 120 damage onto the Pheasantipity. Again, not trying to be too explosive. And the nice thing is, this Gholdengo can actually go back to, can remove itself from the field.
Yeah, I mean, not a very explosive start, but that's because Luca's hand is just really bad at this point. He has nothing in his hand. He's not trying to conserve resources. He just doesn't have anything to work with. This was his best possible play. Yeah, I mean,
well, he's not in any rush, so
he's not in any rush, that's for sure. Like, in terms of attacking pressure, sometimes Pidgeot control decks can win by, if your opponent's drawing that badly, you can power up a Pidgeot and just start attacking them that way. Yeah, I've definitely won games doing that before. That is an option. This Iono will give Luca a fresh new hand. Camille trying to prevent that Pheasantipity from going down. And a big pain point here for Camille was that the Latias EX was prized. So that allowed him to not have the ideal setup of promoting the Mega Kangaskhan EX to start drawing cards with Run Errand. Latias EX is problematic if it's not available, but this deck needs so many resources to deny an opponent's resources that it can't afford to play multiple copies of any card, really.
Yes, and I think it's also just very important for Luca to force the Psyduck to the bench. You don't, not taking that knockout, it does take up a bench space, and that's one less support Pokemon or very annoying Pokemon that Camille can use, right? It's just sitting there doing nothing. There's no Dusknoir for the Gholdengo, so just damage on defensivity, great. And right now, does have the Arven, so Luca is now going to at least be able to set up, and is choosing to flood the board now with a couple of gimme goals.
Yeah, now we have that explosiveness that, like I said, Luca would have loved to have, but just did not have access to before. Now we get to surf back, choosing not to shuffle the Gholdengo back into a deck. Usually a 3 energy attachment for Gholdengo's second attack is really rough to have, but there's been no pressure, and it was Luca's best play, and now he's up ahead 2 prizes without any resources exhausted. That's the key thing. And now 2 energies prize, the Lana's 8 at the very top. Those could be cards that come down that could affect the later stages of the game. And I really want to highlight how, like, being behind in prize cards for Pidgeot, like, that's how the deck plays. The deck will not be trying to win by prize cards. So it's on Camille to make sure that Luca can't draw the 6th prize. If they draw 5, that's perfectly fine. They just cannot draw the 6. As we see, the Milotic hit the field, which will prevent any future Professor Turo scenario.
Yes, that means Luca can't pick up his Pokemon unless, of course, by surfing back. But right now, going for the boss's order. Are we going to start the trap here? The Mega Kangaskhan's too big. It's too hard to move out of the active. Maybe just trying to prevent Luca from, getting a free attack. Or trying to keep the energy stuck.
Exactly. Yeah, I think that's the main idea. It's like, okay, if you want to attack with Gholdengo, you can go ahead and do it. If there's an air balloon, you can easily retreat, right? And you can surf back the energy into the deck. It will take away your Gholdengo, it will take away your attachments, but that is something that Luca could try to do here, and it's something that Camille might be forcing. But this is a way to protect essentially your Gholdengo, because if the other Gholdengo was in the active, to protect your Kangaskhan, because if the Gholdengo was in the active, you can retreat those energies. Now they're in the discard pile. Now they're accessible for your Gholdengo EX to take a 1-hit KO on this Kangaskhan. It has a lot of HP, but Gholdengo laughs at those high HPs.
Yes. Again, 300 HP might seem like a lot, but that's just 6 energies for the Gholdengo. I believe Cypher Maniac's code breaking now being played. Luca gets to choose and pick what he's about to draw. I'm not sure if there's any Gholdengo EX just yet to be able to draw these cards right this minute. There is, of course, the Lunatone to grab it right now. But yeah, if I was Camille, I'd be a little bit scared here. My opponent got to double quick search, essentially. Will he be able to knock out this Mega Kangaskhan and then go down to 1 prize card almost immediately?
I mean, there's definitely a possibility. There's already a good amount of energies in the hand. We're going to draw 3 off the top. And look at taking a minute to read the Milotic's ability that Mentally Calm does prevent Pokemon from getting picked up from play into your hand. So Professor Turo's scenario can be played. It just will not work at all. Now we do see 1 Gholdengo. We see a Fighting Gunk drawn off of that. See an air balloon. I think we're gonna be surfing back this game once, or this turn rather, and trying to get a little bit of damage. I think 100 damage.
Do you ever jump up though?
Do you ever what?
Do you ever now move the Gholdengo into the deck?
I would imagine so. I feel like having those energies available for future discard use can be important. Or, I mean, having the natural Cornerstone counter already powered up could be good as well. Attacking, like, the way to beat Pidgeot control is continuous pressure without resource usage. That's like the main deal, right? But Pidgeot thrives on you discarding energies, using your superior energy tribbles, using up resources, because then that way I know you don't have those resources for later down the line. So keeping the Gholdengo powered up, just doing 100, 100, 100, it's not a lot of pressure, but it's significant enough to where Camille without a Pidgeot could struggle later down the line.
Right now, though, Camille looking at the hand. There is a lot to work with, but also still has the run Aaron Kangaskhan to be able to keep drawing more cards. Has the Brock Scouting. It's a slower way to find your Pokemon, but the flexibility of this card is exactly what Pidgeot Control loves to play, right? Can opt to find more basic Pokemon if they whiff the Precious Trolley, or can slowly establish a Pidgeot one piece at a time.
Yeah, that's the issue right now for Camille. Establishing the Pidgeot one piece at a time could be a little too slow. I did see Luca already has the Prime Catcher in his hand for possibly the next turn. And if he's done his homework, like you could KO the Kangaskhan right here, go down to one prize card, and then go after a single prizer. There's definitely plenty on the board. And the trapping strategy is way less effective against a deck that plays that natural item-based switching card, which not many decks play these days, but Prime Catcher is available to him.
Yes, Prime Catcher, you do get the gust effect, but sometimes the switching effect is just as important as counter catchers now played. Leaving the Lunatone in the active, but it is not trapped. It can still retreat, but to retreat does force an attachment or an air balloon.
And if you force an attachment, you can't attach to Gholdengo to attack, right? That was part of the issue with shuffling those energies back. You no longer have an attacker ready, and one air balloon has already been committed to the Gholdengo, right? That's the key piece here. You can't play Turo to dedicate your attachment to the Gholdengo. You can't play an energy to the active, because then, I mean, you can, but then you're not doing anything this turn. But Luca does have access to the Prime Catcher. Professor Turo is not live because of the Milotic, so that's not an option. But we do find the Air Balloon immediately, and we should be seeing this Mega Kangaskhan possibly go down. And with Prime Catcher available, I mean, it could easily come down to an easy knockout on that poor Psyduck with a Soul Rock.
Yeah, at that point, it's only a matter of time. I don't think there's a way. I'm trying to think. Again, there's so many lines here for Camille to be able to for Camille to do. Again, there's the cornerstone, but I guess a way to stop Prime Catcher is, hey, let's just stop all items with the Oceanic Gloom.
Yeah, Oceanic Gloom would stop all items. Milotic does stop Professor Turo, so that could be a way to trap something, right? But there's enough energy available, I think, after this knockout to where the Frillish could just go down at some point. If you trap the Soul Rock, you attack, and yep, there we have it. Camille realizes that this game is just not going to work out, and Luca takes the first game. And now, not only does Camille need to win 2 games back-to-back, now he's also playing against the clock, right? Because if you're not a deck that takes prize cards, even if you have them in a complete lock, you win game 2 and your lock is perfect in game 3, if time runs out and Luca has taken even a single prize card, he'll be declared the winner of the match.
That's the downside sometimes of playing these control decks. You're not taking prize cards. Yes, there is more time here in the finals, but if it does come down to game 3 and all it takes is a singular knockout, it's looking very, very good here for Luca. But we'll have to see what Camille can put together. Again, I would love to see more of these tricks. On paper, Pablo, if you think about it, as a Gholdengo player, you don't like to see a lot of the cards that Camille is playing. But real quick, let's take a look at the replay. We got some surf back action.
Yeah.
Very, very cool. There's an interaction I'm curious to see, but we have, because I honestly don't know what could happen. What if you surf back into a handheld fan?
So I believe because you are shuffling the cards back into a deck, like both, well, I mean, I don't want to say I believe. I'm not entirely sure. I would imagine both effects are happening at the same time. So honestly, I don't know. I don't know what would have
let's see if it happens, and then our judges on the floor will confirm it for us. But yes, again, very interesting interactions. That might be a way to play around that specific handheld fan.
Yeah.
But again, so many options for both these players. Camille, again, with so many of these 1-1-1 off lines, would love to see him actually get to use it. Instead, he did get stuck with a lot of his Pokemon because the Latias was prized.
Yeah, Latias took away a lot of maneuverability. Fezandipity going down immediately also took away a lot of the potential extra draw options, which limited Camille's possibility to establish Pidgeot, to find the right cards for the right situation. Now it's going to be Luca starting us off this time around once again. Gonna get an Artisan, gonna get a Gimmighoul into play, a Soul Rock as well. And yeah, looking pretty good. Though those prizes are not looking very good, Juancho.
Double superior energy retrieval. If he's looking for the knockout on the Kangaskhan, it might be a little bit tougher, especially later in the game. But again, Kangaskhan EX, 300 HP apps is absolutely massive. Camille did have the Bravery Charm the last game, but opted not to attach it just yet. Maybe thinking he might want to use the fan just to move some energies around. Because again, Mega Kangaskhan is a tank, but when Gholdengo can do possibly unlimited damage based on the energy, it's a scary card.
Very scary card indeed. Losing your energy to another Pokemon. Because if they're in the discard pile, that's fine. Just get them back. You have multiple cards to get those back. But if they're in play, that's so problematic. Now we're going to see Camille draw 2 cards off the top. Does find Arven as the second card. And now he's going to check for that Precious Trolley, which he will be very, very happy to see.
Yes. Looking at his prize cards now, Team Star Grunt is prized. That's something... that's not a card you see every day, but I don't think it's going to come into this matchup. Or the Shuckle, unfortunately. 2 very fun cards, a lot of one-ofs. Besides that, there are multiple copies of Pidgey, Iono Brock Scouting. Night Stretcher should be fine as well. So prizing is okay. So we might not have to see something like the redeemable ticket being played.
So I'm going to say the Team Star Grunt can be utilized in a way where if your opponent only has 1 energy in play, right, and their air balloons have been played, then you can take away that attachment from whatever has it, let's assume a Gholdengo, and then you bring something else up that requires an attachment to retreat. And that way, that leaves your opponent in a weird situation where if they attach to retreat, they have to retreat, and then they're susceptible to more gusting because you can only attach either to retreat or to attack. And if you preemptively attach to attack and then wait for next turn to attach to retreat, that's where the energy moving effect of LGM comes into play. So I do think that Team Star Grunt, like, it's priced, so we're not going to be seeing it probably in this match in particular, but against these low energy cost decks that want to save their resources, you also have to be very careful, because if you overdo it and you are too careful, then you could get punished with the Team Star Grunt.
Okay, that made a lot of sense, Pablo. In my mind, I was thinking of his cute little combo of Team Star Grunt and then the Durant to discard, just a pseudo crushing hammer.
That's a very expensive crushing hammer for sure. Your supporter for turn, a bench space as well. Yeah, I mean, it's a combo that exists, absolutely. You would be getting rid of the energy essentially permanently. It's probably very effective against Dragapult, right? With the A-Spec energy just getting completely removed from play. But if you just move it to a body, right? I mean, that's good enough.
That's true. As right now, Camille has access to the Skyliner ability now with the Lata, so there is a lot of movement, and this is one of the cards Gholdengo hates to see. The Frillish with the Oceanic Gloom attack. 20 damage plus the item lock. This is what I was trying to allude to earlier, Pablo, where as a Gholdengo player, there's a list of cards you don't like seeing, that you don't like playing against. And it's Cornerstone, you don't like playing against item lock, you don't like getting trapped by the Evil Tall or something like that. And Camille plays all of those options.
Quite literally all of them. Now, also played the Lively Stadium into play, making that Frillish even harder to take down. We've seen Gholdengo play that 1 copy of Vitality banned in order to attach to Solrock and deal 80 damage, which is just enough to kill those Frillishes. But as long as the Stadium is in play, that is not going to be an option. We do have the Vitality Band in Luca's deck, but we're not going to be utilizing anytime soon. Or at the very least, we need a counter Stadium. We do play 1 copy of Arizona, so never mind. For the rest of the game, Juancho, every single basic Pokemon will have 30 extra HP for that Lively Stadium.
That's a really powerful stadium, especially when you can't bump it. And this Frillish now is just massive. The extra 10, too, means that Gholdengo needs not 2, but 3 energy. 3 energy to take the knockout.
You want to take out a Kangaskhan, you need 7 energy as well instead of 6. You want to, yeah, it's definitely impactful. And with Bravery Charm on top of that, it could even get worse.
Yes. Are you more afraid of the bravery charm or the handheld fan on the Frillish right now? I'm more afraid that every time I hit into this Frillish, I have to say goodbye to one of my metal energies.
Yeah, I think it's early handheld fan into late game. Difficult to take down once resources have been exhausted. We do see the Pidgeot established finally off of that Brock Scouting and the rare candy, 2 copies of rare candy in the deck. Seems like we're going to immediately go for that Milotic, just take away the Professor Turo scenario option immediately. Prime Catcher being shot down as well. So Luca is going to have to manage his bench pretty perfectly if he doesn't want something awkward priced in the active spot.
Yes, again, this is what Camille wanted to do in that first game. Establish the Pidgeot, establish the Milotic, and then have access to retreat in the Latias. And such a terrifying, terrifying board. Oceanic Gloom just hitting for another 20. Could even knock out this Gimme Go potentially. But right now, Luca's going to get some help. Going to be able to draw some cards. And this was, again, tutored up with the Cypher Maniac. So the second card was also something he was able to hand pick.
I believe that was the Genesect. Just make sure that you can search for your Gholdengos later down the line. But Genesect could be a little problematic because it has that high HP. It doesn't have a very energy efficient attack either. And we're going to see that hit the board. We're going to go find our Gholdengos, but now we're missing metal energies, Juancho. So I think we're going to go for a minor errand running this turn.
Minor errand running. Not too bad. And again, since it is not hitting the Frillish, doesn't have to worry about yet fighting energy getting moved. So even if it was moved, it's not the end of the world. It's the fighting energy. The metal energies are the ones we have to keep track of. There it is.
And we have 2 energies ready to go in the hand. I mean, the hand could get attacked. We know there's Iono. There's only 1 copy of Iono. That's another thing for these decks. They do play Iono, but it is prized. So there won't be any hand attack anytime soon, or there could be if we play that copy of Redeemable Ticket, essentially switching our 6 prize cards with 6 other random cards from the deck. However, I think it's going to be a long way. And like, Iono is important, but it's sort of important to prevent a deck out scenario. You play 06 Machinations first, then you play Iono. Both players shuffle their hand, but your opponent's hand just went to a very small number. So I don't think the Iono will be the key card right here, but Luca is probably aware that his hand could change sometime soon.
Yes, right now with the quick search, can have access to anything he wants from the deck. I wonder what supporter was grabbed there. Oh, not even using one.
Yeah, just, I mean, we did play Brock Scouting this turn.
Oh,
no, that was last turn. That was last turn. Never mind. Just gonna keep applying the pressure, keep shutting down the item cards. Taking a prize card for Camille is actually not ideal, right? Because then Luca can take a prize card and still not be susceptible to counter catcher, so it's not really ideal. Now this Gholdengo, the non-EX Gholdengo, can take this potential first prize card. We could evolve, attach the metal, but we might finally see the interaction that you want to see, Juancho, with the handheld fan, not with Surf Run. And we did get confirmation that it's the effect of the attack first into the effect of the tool. But yeah, we see the boss orders taking down that Milotic, which doesn't get the extra HP and is knocked out by the Strike It Rich attack.
Strike It Rich, 120 when it is evolved into the Gholdengo. Just perfect math there. And losing the Milotic, that's pretty big. That means Luca has access to Turo if he chooses to use it. Let's see what Camille can put together. Gonna draw a couple of cards first with the Kangaskhan. It is free. Has access to Counter Catch, has access to so many cards in hand. What do you think the play is here? Are we gonna trap something the active now?
We could, but without the Milotic, it's a lot weaker. Our Night Stretcher is prize right, so we're going to have to rely on Lana's aid, probably in the later stages of the game to pull that off. There's still both air balloons available as well. Now the 2 Professor Turos are live, so sure trapping something is going to be as effective. And yeah, I think it's going to be LGM time. We need to move those energies away from the Gholdengo And if we send Metal Energy to Lunatone, the Metal Energy is as good as useless. We send another Metal Energy to Solrock, that's going to be useless. And this will prevent, like Luca can only attach one energy per turn, right? So we're never getting to power up enough for Surfback.
Yeah, I don't think, unfortunately, now we're not going to see that interaction, Pablo.
You're not going to see the interaction. Did you want to change your caster prediction to handheld fan now, as we are about to finish the tournament?
No, I'll stick with the Mega Mawile. Thank you. But right now, again, Counter Catcher is played. And what energy is that on the LGM right now?
It's a Prism energy, providing every type of energy, but only one at a time. That allows the deck to have a lot of flexibility with Sudowoodo's attacks, with that Light Shift from the LGM, with the Oceanic Loom from the Frillish. You can even attach 3 energies and have an aggressive Cornerstone, taking knockouts. But yeah, we could see the impound attack from Ethan Sudowoodo get powered up at some point. And this is what I meant when right now you have to dedicate a resource for the Air Balloon to potentially retreat. And if it gets to a point where there's nothing powered up and there's something trapped in the active, like this forces an Air Balloon here or a Professor Turo usage. And that's one less resource that Luca has for later down the line that Camille is sort of like checking off his checklist in order to, okay, once you run out of X resource, then one of the locks becomes a lot stronger.
Yes. Again, name of the game is make Luca use stuff.
Yeah, exactly. Use up as much stuff as possible. And now we're in a completely different situation than the previous game. Luca has taken 1 prize card. Camille has a perfect setup board with essentially, if a Pokemon gets knocked out, he gets 5 extra cards to work with that turn, along with any card he needs off of the Pidgeot. Now, we could see the knockout on the Pidgeot eventually. I think that's something that Luca is going to try to do. But as Camille accumulates resources in his hand, it does get to a point where you don't need Pidgeot, just because Gholdengo don't play any sort of hand disruption, and you just have like 25 card hand. So it's very unlikely that you end up missing something. So the Pidgeot ends up serving its purpose, and it's okay for it to get KO'd. You'd rather the Pidgeot get KO'd, because the Pidgeot is just going to try to search for one of these resources anyways. So if you lose the Pidgeot, you get to keep the disruption resource active.
I like it. Almost like a Pidgeot taking the heat there. But right now, Luca has a lot of cards in hand. I believe I did see the Air Balloon. So this Genesect is going to be able to move. And the LGM only having 90 HP should be fairly easy to knock out. But it does dedicate at least a Metal Energy on the Gholdengo, potentially. Fortunately, Solrock is not enough to take a knockout on the LGM because of the Lively Stadium. So here it is. Ladies and gentlemen, we have to keep count of Metal Energies in play. Luca only plays 3 Metal Energy. 1 is now onto the Solrock. If he dedicates this one now onto the Gholdengo, that's 2. That means he'll only have to deal with 1 more somewhere in the deck.
Yeah, 1 more Metal Energy available, 1 Air Balloon available as well. We just see the pass. So this is great by Luca. This is a full understanding on essentially the matchup. Basically, Luca could just go out of his way to knock out the LGM. Right now, LGM is not very impactful, right? LGM, any energy they move, it doesn't matter at this point, because no energy is attached to a relevant Pokemon. And Luca is generally 1 Boss's Orders and 1 Prime Catcher away, or 2 Boss's Orders from winning this game, right? Could take down the Mega Kangaskhan, could take down the Pidgeot and win that way. It could come down to the Lanaceit providing just enough energy to be able to win, but we see the Xerosix Machinations, which is another way to get rid of resources from your opponent. And those 3 energies are very valuable.
And this is exactly the way to punish a inactive turn, right?
Yeah.
Yes, Luca was trying to prep for that big, I'm Gust plus a lot of energy knockout on some better Pokemon. Well, if you're not going to use your cards just now, and you're leaving me free to, instead of searching for ways to disrupt you, like searching for ways to recover my LGM, recover my Frillish, instead, he's free to use the Pidgeot to get this Cerosic Machinations and attack the hand, that massive, massive hand, even forcing down the Professor Turo scenario and a couple of energy.
And the Super Rod.
Rod.
All of those cards are very key. Luca definitely needs those for later down the line, or would need those. Now they're no longer available. So yeah, the passive turn does force something like this now. Luca definitely needed a bit of time to make sure that he was keeping the right resources available, keeping everything that he thinks he will need. Energies can be recovered unless you're under item lock, right? So now I'm starting to see plenty of paths that are opening up for Camille to win. One Turo here, a bunch of energy getting discarded and utilized for KO. The air balloon already there, so now the amount of times Luca can move an active Pokemon, the amount of energy he has available to take big knockouts, and yeah, Camille follows this up with an item lock. So these two energies are now permanently stuck here. That there's two energy in play as well. That's 4. I wonder if there's any more energies in the discard pile. Yeah, there's a metal energy in the discard pile. That means the metal energy in Luca's hand is the last metal energy available as he... Oh no, that was a deck then. Sorry, that's my bad. There's 3 fighting energy in the discard pile. There's 1 metal energy in the deck. There's 1 metal energy in the hand. So 2 available to still continually attack. Yeah, it's gonna be rough, and we could see more Cerosic Machinations. There's 2 copies of Palpad, so we could see something like this turn, and you can't keep every good card in your hand, so these could be very punishing.
Yeah, it almost forces Luca to start putting pressure, start using cards, or else fall in. He does not want to fall into that trap once again, and it's a very simple way to get back those Cerosic Machinations: a Palpad and then a Pidgeot.
Yeah.
To search it again.
And there we have it, another pass for the turn. Item lock being too harsh at this point, requiring 3 energy, as you mentioned, Juancho, in order to take this knockout. Unless we find the Vitality Band, right? That could be an option, as we're going to see the quick search. Now, like I mentioned, Camille has a much stronger chokehold on the board than Luca at this point in time. But with the clock dwindling down, we have 43 minutes. Luca still can very likely win this game, but if he doesn't, all he needs to do is be 1 prize ahead. And we could honestly see that aggro Pidgeot strategy in game 3, or powering up Mega Kangaskhan maybe, or powering up Cornerstone as a way to take prizes and be ahead when time gets called. So that's something to watch out for the future.
It's going to be interesting, as I didn't quite get to catch what he quick searched for, and he has so many cards in hand.
I think it was either Lana's Aid to recover the Milotic to continue to take away Professor Turo scenario as an option. I think I might have seen an area as well, but I think Camille's going to be content letting Luca accumulate more resources in the hand, and sure, now they don't get to pick, right? You get to pick 2 item cards, and of course you're gunning for those superior energy retrievals.
Looks like now, Camille opting, instead of, it's pick your poison. Do you want item lock, or do you want me to move your energy around? Opting to prevent the surf back attack. Again, a little slight shift.
Little slight shift from the LGM, and also has the handheld fan attached. So we could see, if this LGM gets KO'd, we are definitely seeing another metal energy get moved somewhere. And that will leave Luca with only 1 metal energy available. Or we could attack with Soul Rock, right? But you also don't have infinite fighting type energies, right? So that's also a risk, and you wouldn't even be taking a KO. So Camille could easily penny, essentially lose the turn for, make Luca have a worthless turn, and then continue to be annoying, honestly.
Yes, as right now Luca has access to items, is going to opt to use superior energy retrieval. This is one of 2 that are in the deck he has access to, because again, 2 are prized. And is he going to start swinging? And he is going to swing here onto the Latias.
We saw how important the Latias was last game. We are seeing how important the Latias is this game as well. And the key card, Night Stretcher, being prized, Juancho, which we thought would be okay. Lana's Aid cannot recover Pokemon with Rule Box, I believe. So that Latias EX, until we see the redeemable ticket, will be leaving in the discard pile.
Yes. Luckily, Pidgeot EX does have free retreat, so that is still an easy pivot. However, it's going to be a little bit tougher to move between Frillish and the LGM, which Camille has really loved to do. So now he is going to have to make a decision here. Is it going to be item lock, keep the energies in the discard pile? Or do we start attacking the metal energies?
Let's see a Ruffian, not a very common card, removing the air balloon and then bringing up the Genesect, and then we are going to go for the item lock. A lot of energy were expended last turn to take a knockout, and I think this is a way as well to protect yourself from the Mega Kangaskhan get taken down. I'm sure Camille will be pennying that up very, very soon. And you do this turn, you shut down item cards, and you bench the Feebas. Yeah, so that's going to be pretty impactful right here.
Right now, though, I mean, Camille does not have the Milotic set up. Right now, it's a lonely Phoebus. Luca does have the Professor Turo in hand, can opt to maneuver this turn if he chooses to. And this might be the only turn he has access to it. Is he going to use it, though?
Right. Did not use it. Now the Milotic hits the field. We can just knock it out again, right? We do have another Balloon. We could go after it. 6 fighting energy in the discard pile does mean there are definitely not enough energy to take a knockout on the Mega Kangaskhan, so no rush to penny it up to remove that potential win condition. But if we ever break the item lock, we probably need to prioritize that. Unfortunately for Luca, 2 superior energy retrievals are in the prize card still, so we're gonna need some help here. Run it back isn't even a KO on the Frillish at this point because of that extra 10 HP. So that could be, yeah, I mean, Luca just running into more and more walls, and this is exactly how Pigeon Control wants to control everything, right? Alternating between the disruption.
Yes, but right now, disruption is you can't play your item cards because Oceanic Gloom, once again, 20 damage, item lock. Back to Luca. Has a couple of cards to work with in his hand. A lot of energy on the board. 3 triple and fighting energy on the Gholdengo is interesting. Looking at the hand, again, the Turo's in the hand, the Arven, like you mentioned. There is still an air balloon in the deck. Yeah, that's only one discarded. Again, Luca did get hit by that giant Cirrosic, so I wasn't able to keep track of all the resources we're missing.
Okay, 1 air balloon's in the discard pile. That was off the Ruffian. There's the second copy available now. All right.
And luckily, air balloon can still be played under item lock because it is a tool, not an item. But I believe that was still just a pass.
How do we go from here? I don't know. I think we're still... No, yeah. We're straightening out our Gholdengos. We just see the pass. And the air balloon in hand. Vitality Band gonna come in clutch here, Juancho. And this is a great way to take a prize and also keep energy available.
Vitality Band does add 10 more damage. And hey, I was thinking Frillish was a little safe there with that extra 10, but and we get to see that effect happen. The dodging the handheld fan.
This was a key turn for Camille. Basically, he could have slight shifted the energy away from the Gholdengo to prevent the surf run, but but that opens up the possibility of superior energy retrieval. We see the Lanacite get played, 3 fighting energy get recovered, and as we now know, the energy should be going back into a deck before they get moved from the active. I think that's exactly what Luca is asking. He's going to shuffle the Pokemon back, and I mean, the judges will know. We did get a confirmation on it. All right, so we are taking the KO. We're doing exactly 110 damage with the Lively Stadium, and Luca is going to use the Surf Back effect to shuffle this Pokemon and all cards attached to it into his deck. So now we're just getting a full confirmation on whether the handheld fan effect activates prior to Gholdengo getting shuffled into a deck, or if the energies go back and there's no disruption. So
yeah,
sometimes these sort of effects are resolved by the owner of the card. Yeah, like historically, I definitely don't know. I feel like both effects need to be resolved before we check for knockouts, for example. Neither effect revolves around a knockout. So yeah, honestly not sure. I have to imagine it is the attack first, because if this was, for example, one of those tools that damages you back, then I'm pretty sure even though you get the damage back because you're shuffling into a deck, you're checking for a knockout on a Pokemon that is no longer there, right? So I would imagine, but we'll get confirmation from the judges. And hey, Juancho, you did get to see it on stream.
Yeah, and again, you know it's gonna be a tricky scenario when someone like Pablo isn't even sure, right? That's why I didn't know at all, so I had to double check with you. But right now, we're getting to see it, and it's so important as well. Getting those 3 energies back into the deck. I believe Luca only has 1 energy left, right? But now
There's 4.
There's 4, thanks to the Lana's aid, plus the 3 that got moved back into the deck. There's actually a lot of energy. Luca has a lot of energy access.
And you know what? There's not only 4, Juancho, but with the Night Stretcher being prized and the Lana's aid already being utilized for Camille, we need a Palpat to recover the Lana's aid, to recover the Frillish, and we need an energy in order to continue the item lock. Otherwise, we're gonna be in trouble. Camille will go into that Ultra Ball, make sure he knows exactly what the contents are of his deck. I'm not seeing any sort of super or anything else like that to be able to recover. So if our plan is to recover item lock, then we don't have access to a Night Stretcher or the Lana's aid just yet. And another important thing is, I believe Camille has used both counter catchers at this point. So if we Lana's aid back the LGM, then we cannot boss's orders something like the Soul Rock or something like this Gholdengo.
That is going to be tough. Yep, there it is. 2 counter catchers. Ultra Ball being played, though, grabbing the Durant. How many cards does the Gholdengo player have?
Oh, there's plenty. Yeah, the Durant is mostly thinning. Probably not going to be seeing it anytime soon. Okay, there we go. Redeemable ticket. We are going to be putting that Night Stretcher back into the deck. We can see how essential that is. That will allow us to play boss's orders and recover the Frillish in order to continue to establish the item lock.
Yeah, so right now, these are the old prize cards that get shuffled in. We should be seeing the new prize cards fairly shortly. But now, again, game has changed now. There are new tools that Camille has access to and new tools that he doesn't. A Palpad being prized might definitely be tough. That means less things can be reused. The Cornerstone is now prized. That means there is no more access to a hiding behind the Cornerstone. But again, that's probably not the way to win in any case. If I had to guess, it is still the energy movement, or maybe if it's too hard to get the energy movement, what about a trap? Maybe trapping something on the bench.
I mean, yeah, we could definitely go into the Ethan Sudowoodo at some point. We are going to continue with the Frillish lock just yet. Maybe force Luca to take 1 more prize card. I mean, okay, now the Frillish with this Bravery Charm and the Lively Stadium has how much
160
HP?
HP?
160 HP, yep. So that means Luca needs 4 energy to knock it out. So do we have, and we don't have Air Balloon. Professor Turo scenario does not work. We have 2 fighting energy in hand. Do we have a metal energy and 4 fighting energy to take down this Frillish, Juancho?
Maybe not this turn, but we have seen 3 fighting energies get shuffled in. So there's at least 3 energies in the deck. There is still 1 more metal. And I believe, thanks to the Lana's aid, the 2 energies in hand. So there is still a way to knock this out, but it does involve drawing a little bit more. Maybe not this turn. So that definitely going to buy Camille some time here.
And the question is, Juancho, can you do it twice? Because if you knock out this Frillish with all these resources, sure, but you go down to 1 prize card. And then what happens after? Camille will now have a bit of an opening to play Palpad, recover the Lana's aid, as he's about to do right now with this Palpad, and then once the Frillish gets KO'd, he can get it back and continue the item lock. And sure, Frillish will now only have 110 HP, but I don't know if Luca will have enough energy left over by then. Yep, 0-6 and Lana's getting grabbed. I think this is Camille's game to lose at this point.
Yes. Again, it's going to be very scary as now Sarosic is going to be played, discarding so many cards. I can't even see how many cards Luca has in hand, but I know how many cards he's going to have after. 3.
Yeah, so just want to reiterate that Camille put the 2 supporters back, and then he quick searched for the Sarosic. That's why that card did not get shuffled back. So now Luca is making the decision, keeping the energies, of course, available to him, and we are going to go for that Oceanic Gloom. Continue the item lock. Luca's deck has to be running thin. There's a Metal Energy off the top, so we could see this knockout. We need 4 energy though, Juancho. Oh no, with the Vitality Band, we only need 3.
3 energy, and then you could still have a fighting left over for your Soul Rock to potentially close things out. Oh, Soul Rock can't even close things out because the LGM has so much HP too.
That Lively Stadium is probably the biggest card right now. The early Arzon form, Luca ended up being needed, right? But the extra 30 HP just makes every single Pokemon in Camille's side just that much more disruptive.
Camille here taking the time to use the penny, picking up the lowest HP 2 prize Pokemon in play. No more Pheasantipity. But yeah, right now, Luca, can he put together maybe a knockout on the Pidgeot? Is there enough energy for that? Oh.
Okay, we're going to see attachment to the Pheasantipity.
I feel like every time I'm with you, Pablo, we have to announce Cruel Arrow at some point.
It does feel that way. With no Professor Sturgeon available and no more air balloons, how are we getting that powered up, though?
I mean, again, so Luca has access to at least 4 energy, so an attach plus 2 more. Attach on the active, 2 more, attach 2 more on the bench. It is tough to get into the LGM.
Okay, so I think we might be in a weird situation where that Sarosic might have been a little over-eager from Camille. If he had just waited until Luca draws even more cards from the deck, then you play Sarosic, and then you play the Iono, then you essentially force your opponent to deck themselves out, right? But Camille's deck only has 3 cards left, as we can see here. His hand is pretty big, but after he Ionos, he will redraw 6 cards, and Luca will only draw 2. So 4 cards left in Luca's deck. Okay, I think he might be safe overall from the deck out. Oh, and he has another Palpad, never mind.
What if...
He plays 3 Palpad? Wow, he plays 3 Palpad. Yeah.
What if this is the Team Star Durant time? Take out the energy from the Gholdengo and discard it, preventing the Gholdengo to retreat.
It generally could be, Juancho. It generally could be. Team Star Grunt putting that energy to the top of the deck. Durant EX's ability discarding the top card. Juancho, you could have your moment right here. Both the interaction from the Gholdengo getting shuffled and the Durant plus Team Star Grunt combo, that sudden shearing ability could factor into this match.
Something again, if I had the opportunity, obviously, to have access to all the cards we have in the format, that interaction is not something I had in my bingo book, and sure enough...
I mean, it was an energy. The Team Star Grunt did not get played, but there was an energy. We're actually going to go for a double sudden shearing off the top, possibly if we rebench that Durant. Seems like we are. We're debating it at least.
Again, with 3 cards remaining.
This was not on my bingo card for LAIC Finals, Juancho.
Durant
there
here.
We go.
Second energy!
My goodness. That is huge. Useless Prime Catcher. We bring up the Mega Kangaskhan.
Well, Mega Kangaskhan in the active cannot retreat, but what is it? Just 1 more penny? In any case?
Yeah. And we do have Palpad in hand, and we can quick search for the penny. We see the attachments already. We see the Pheasantipity in the active spot. I mean, Pheasantipity doesn't win us the game, though. We need 2 back-to-back attacks.
I'm pretty sure that's 1 card left in the deck. It's going to be a penny for the Durant, decking out Luca Levain and tying the series up. Camille takes the game with a hungry hand.
Wow, 3 cards off the top with Durant to close out this game. Perfectly well done by Camille. Found the perfect lock. but can he do it with the time that is remaining? That was a very, very long game 2. Game 1 was quite short, and so one deck is very aggressive, the other is very passive. The time limit for sure favors the aggressive deck here, Juancho.
It's gonna be tough. I mean, you mentioned earlier, Camille has options to attack in the Cornerstone Mass Ogre Pawn, in the Pidgeot, potentially aggressive Pidgeot, but I think Luca's deck's a little bit more aggressive, just a little bit.
Just a tiny little bit more aggressive. Yeah, it's not like they have a basic Pokemon that can attack, an evolution that can do unlimited damage, just, yeah, very slightly more aggressive.
Yeah, but let's go take a look back at that game, and one of the MVPs has to be the Sorosic Machination. Actually, you know what? I'm going to take it back. There's no MVP in this game. This is a deck that literally requires complete synergy, so much teamwork to put things together. I mean, we got to see the Frillish, we got to see the Elgem, we got to see the Milotic stopping Professor Turo, Kangaskhan draw cards, Pidgeot picking cards from the deck, Durant discarding cards. Am I missing someone?